Hey guys, what's going on? AJ Buddy here, back with another video. Today I want to talk about why it's a good idea to be autonomous and how autonomy can actually save your life and save you from emotional despair. Now, before I get into the video, I just want to say thank you so much for 200 actually, and 10 subscribers. 210 subscribers. You guys mean the world to me. Like every single time somebody subscribes, that makes me happy. Every single time somebody just clicks the subscribe button and follows me or even likes a video, that makes me happy. And like in every other video, I always say thank you from the bottom of my heart for subscribing, because 210 subscribers, sure, it may be little for some people, but that's a lot for me. But that's not enough to get monetized. So hit the subscribe button and hit the follow on every other account that I have, and hit the like button as well on this video if you can, and watch some of my other videos. That'd be great. But today I just want to talk about being single or being in a relationship, but kind of learning how to live without that person, that significant other, and why it's really important. So there was this one couple that I knew, and they were inseparable. They laughed together, they showered together, they ate together, they went to work together, they went to break together, they did the same tasks at work. Inseparable, which made them insufferable, because they would be by their side, which is, I mean, it's cute, right? They would be by their side every single minute of every single day. And these people, they would just spend all their time with each other at school, at work, at home. And it was great. I mean, these people, I mean, it was great for them, right? If they want to be by their side, by each other for the rest of their lives, so it's great. The problem with that is you sort of have a codependency on that person, meaning when the boyfriend went on when the boyfriend went on vacation, right? She kind of started crying because she had a codependency on the boyfriend, right? And I didn't get to see the boyfriend's reaction, right? But she was feeling very sad, and she couldn't do her work properly because she was thinking about her boyfriend, which is not good. And in turn, it's just not a good thing to have like a codependency on anyone, for that matter, even if it's like your mom, your dad, your brothers, your sisters, a legal guardian, someone that you have, your friends, your boyfriend, your girlfriend. It's not a good idea to have. So a lot of people will break up with you in your lifetime, and that's not saying, oh, there's something wrong with you, or oh, you're ugly or something. It's just because it doesn't work out, right? But to finish the story, the boyfriend comes back, everything's great, right, for the next like year or so, and then the boyfriend, they both break up, and they're both very sad, and they can't live without each other, so they need each other, which is kind of a bad thing if you actually think about it, but it's also kind of sweet. The thing about autonomy and why it's so great and why it works so well is you have to be alone like for 40% of your life, 50% of your life. Think about it. If you're hanging out with your friends all the time, if you're hanging out with your boyfriend, your girlfriend all the time, and you need to get work done, you're not going to get that work done unless they're 100% with you on getting that work done. If you guys have the same goals, which 9 times out of 10, girls and guys do not have the same goals. And soon after that, uh, the girl who broke up they both broke up. Soon after that, she could not do her work properly. She could not function properly, so she had to quit. Or they kind of fired her because she wasn't doing her job. And it's really sad because she fell into a depressed state. And that would have never happened if she learned how to be or how to have good autonomy with this significant other. And it is like I said before, it's great having people around. It's great having a boyfriend or girlfriend that you love, that you love spending time with. But if you spend too much time with that person, right? And they are literally by your side every single day and you do not separate. You're FaceTiming them all the time whenever they're like out somewhere and you're not with them. Whenever you're not sleeping with them, you're FaceTiming them. You're just like you're in the shower FaceTiming them, you're at work FaceTiming them when you don't work together with them. You're just FaceTiming them all the time. So that kind of love, right? Or that kind of neediness rather, that stems from a codependency issue. When you were very young, something must have happened to you for you to crave that much intimacy, to crave that much, like for you to be that needy, right? And I went through the same thing. Okay, I had this girl that I really wanted to be with, and every single time I never showed or I never told her my feelings really, but every time that I would go home, I would just feel miserable. I would feel miserable as fuck. And every time she would drop me off because I don't have a car, right? Or I didn't have a car at the time. And she would drop me off, and every single time I would just feel horrible. I would literally like feel an emptiness in my stomach, which I still do. But at this point in my life, I am pretty autonomous. I don't even know if that's a word, but I'm pretty self-reliant. Um, so these types of fuck. You guys like the video yet? You can subscribe. All right, cool. Okay. So let me just say this. Let me just say this so I can wrap up this video. How to be autonomous, right? One, you need to isolate yourself a bit. Unfortunately, that's the only way to be autonomous. Don't see that person every single day, right? You can see that like a boyfriend and a girlfriend, their main purpose to you right now is to sleep with them, to have a good date with them, and to just talk about shit and a bit of support. That's it. But you can't have 100% support with them because when they finally break up with you, and 50% of relationships end in divorce. So you need to just take that in mind. That's why it's a good idea to be autonomous. So, how do you be autonomous? Find your own hobbies, learn how to be by yourself, and fuck, this video kind of sucks. What was the other one? I guess just distance yourself from them. And don't date clingy people. Because think about it, right? If you were to be with that person 24/7 and you care about what they think, you're never going to grow. You're never going to grow by yourself. You're growing with them, which is beautiful, but at the same time, you need self-isolation to actually grow your own mind, to grow your own self. And I think that's really important. So pick up hobbies, do things yourself, learn how to be by yourself, work on those codependency issues. I know that it's hard sometimes when you really want to be with that person for the rest of your life and it hurts. Like it literally hurts, right? Like even now, like my girlfriend, right? We only see each other like once a week, but every time I have to go, right? And again, I don't have a car, I have a motorcycle. But every time I have to go, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go, right? And we're in the back seat, and she's like clinging onto my arm, like, no, don't go, right? And I'm like, man, that feels so good that someone needs me, somebody wants me, right? And I'm like, but just act act like a man, I'm just like pulling away, like, yeah, I gotta go, because like if a man acts needy to a girl that's secure, then that'll turn her off. But um my point is, she's like, oh no, you can't go, you gotta stay. I'm like, no, I have to go, I seriously have to go. And she's like, okay. But like, yeah, like even now it's just I still crave intimacy, right? But I don't crave it all the time. There's a cap on my intimacy meter, I guess, if you will. Um all right, let me tell you a quick story about how I was very, very, very clingy. So back when I was like 13 or 14, like, oh my goodness, that's so long ago, I know. But back when I was 13 or 14, I had this girl in my neighborhood that was really pretty. She was like Asian, really pretty, and I would go to her house every single day, right, to hang out. And we ended up kind of working out because we were literally like a 2-minute walk from each other. So I went to her house like basically every day because I had nothing to do. I was homeschooled, so I had no school. I didn't have a job at the time because I was only like 13 or 14, right? So I go to her house every single day, right? After she gets home from school. And I'm like, this is great. This is a great life because I can literally go see her every day. Of course, we didn't like do anything like we didn't fuck or anything because we're like 13 or 14, but we'd make out like um every single day basically, right? And I got attached to that. I got attached to her, and I became way too needy. And at this point in my life, I wasn't the one pulling away, she was, because I was too clingy to her. And I didn't have, or we didn't really text at the time because I didn't really have her number or anything, but I would just come over to her house every single day. And you'd be like, you didn't have her number? No, I didn't have her number. I would literally just go over to her house and go see her. And she was basically what I would call my girlfriend at age 13 or 14. But I got way too clingy, right? And every single time that I had to go home, I would hang out with her for like sometimes 2 hours, sometimes 4 hours, sometimes 6 hours, right? And she loved it, right? But she was getting sick of it because I was way too clingy. And I was coming over there every single day. So what basically ends up happening, right, is I'm so like, yeah, I got a girlfriend. Yeah, I'm gonna go over there every single day. I have dopamine like coming out my wazoo, all that shit. And she finally tells me like, hey, I'm moving. And I think to myself, what? That's all I think to myself. Like, what? Moving. And then I'm like, how could you leave me? How could this happen? What are you doing? Like, what? And then I got mad at her because like I think it's her decision to move, but it's not. So I'm like, fuck this bitch. I hate this bitch so much. So then you know what I do? I retreat and I go home. And at the end of that, I got her number. I never called her, and I believe she called me a couple times, right? But I never went back to her house. And that led me to isolate myself. And I isolated myself because the pain of her leaving me was it was a the pain was potent enough to kill a rhinoceros or something, right? So basically, the fact that I was way too clingy and I didn't have anything to do but go and see her was kind of a driving factor for my clinginess, for my my loneliness, I guess. And that's why I went over to her. I wasn't feeling lonely when I was with her, but every time I left, I felt lonely and lonely and lonely, right? So I stopped talking to her and I never saw this girl again. I never saw her again, ever. She moved. She left. And she was gone. And I have never seen her. And I'm never going to see her for the rest of my life. I knew her name. I knew where she lived. And now she's gone. People come and go. You have to understand that. Even if you do love them. At the time, maybe I didn't love them. But maybe I didn't know what love was. But maybe I still don't. My point is, you need to find your own peace. You need to find your own autonomy. And that's why it's really important to learn yourself. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope you found it insightful. If you did, make sure you hit a thumbs up and you hit a subscribe button and you hit a comment section. Anyways, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.